Good day, everyone. Welcome to episode 67 of Reading with Ayo. My name is Ayo Lawrence. I have my friends with me, they're return guests, and they are the popular author of the book Anxiety High. We've done volume 1, we've done volume 2. We have to do volume 3, right? And I think this, David and Josh, this book's just getting better. I keep loving it. The other day, I started reading it again, although I've read it like 3 or 4 times now. This is actually one, right? And every time I read it, I get something new and I get excited about it. And I just wish I can get it into the hands of every kid out there sometimes. But I'll let you introduce yourself, although you guys are not strangers to a lot of the people that listen to Reading with Ayo. But I'll let you introduce yourselves again.
Hi, I'm Joshua Burrows.
I'm David Burrows, and I wanted to just say I'm so excited that you started doing Reading with Ayo again. I think it was a while that you took a break, but you're back with a fury, and it's awesome. Your positive attitude is just what the world needs now. So thank you for coming back and inviting us back, as we're excited to be here.
Hey, I'm just like Sam. I needed time to recharge, refocus.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
There you go.
Oh, actually, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about as we talk about this call is the 3 hours. I just remember that was a big one. That's something that I learned that I'm going to be using a lot. I'm telling you, this book, this one, I don't know if you guys have a favorite, but I think this one is my favorite right now. I just love this one, this volume 3. Hey, Josh, how's school going? I know you're in college, first year of college. How's it going out there?
It's been pretty good. I've been having a easier time than I thought I would, but it's still really difficult, I think.
Yeah. Are people knowing that you're an author? Did you tell them people that I'm an author? Or it
hasn't really come up that much so far. I've told a few people.
Yeah. What was their how did they react to that?
They all thought it was really cool. They were impressed with it.
Yeah, I will be too, man, because I wasn't doing this when I was in freshman in high school. So, hey, good job, man. I know you're going to do great things, brother. I know you're going to do great things. But let's dig into Anxiety High. So, Anxiety High, this volume is about embracing your strengths. I don't know if you guys meant to start it this way, right? But I know, the way you guys started this book, it was really good. And it started with Mrs. Sweeney, which was the principal. And she was asking Sam to do, to organize this thing. And what she said that I think was the power she gave Sam was like, I know you're very good at preparation and you're good at planning. And just starting with that, it's like, I don't know what your intentions were to start that way, but it was refreshing to me that somebody, wanted somebody to do that. And the first thing they did was, hey, these are your strengths. This is why you can accomplish this. Was that intentional, David?
I think that, talk about the book. So all the characters are familiar, right? So Sam was in book 1 and 2, and we chose Sam to be the focus of volume 3 because a lot of people liked her character in book volume 1 because she was this pillar of strength for Niles, and she was an introverted pillar of strength. She was an introverted leader, and she was atypical. From the stereotype that most people have about introverts. And but at the same time, she is introverted, so she's dealing with these same feelings and emotions that all introverts feel when they're put in situations that are uncomfortable being. Doesn't mean they don't want to be in those situations or can't function well in those situations, but there are these feelings that exist. And we started to examine, okay, how will Sam feel when she's put in a difficult situation? And so that was kind of the genesis for volume 3. And then we started thinking about how we could make that come to life and how we could, look deeper into Sam's past and kind of understand why she is the person she is today and kind of what went into that. Look at her support system. What's that look like? And really test her from a perspective of, even though she's like in books 1 and 2, she's got her act together and everything's going great, but not everything is great. And really put that to the test and show people that, even people who think on the surface look like they have everything in order struggle sometimes.
Yeah. And that showed because, throughout the book, it did show with her, right? especially when Trent, uh, we'll talk a little bit about him, which was Tulip Lawrence assistant. Let's talk about Tulip Lawrence. Hey, thank you for using my last name, by the way.
Well, when you write books, you look everywhere for ideas for names and stuff. So I did use it because it is your last name. That was a real thing. So
no, yeah. So the book, and I know it started from her. She's a good writer, and she wrote the book that Sam really loved. And just to give people a little bit of spoiler around the book, Tulip Lawrence is a writer, and she was coming to Anxiety High, which is Jane Pinnity High School, and she was coming to give a talk, and Mrs. Sweeney thought like, hey, Sam could be the person to host the event, and a lot of things happened around the event, which showed Sam's strengths, right? Josh, I know you're in high school, you're in college right now, you just left high school. How have you seen kids embrace their strengths to do hard things, to do things that are expected to them and opportunities that have been given to them? How have you seen that, especially with introverted kids?
Well, the high school I went to and the college I'm going to right now are both definitely like really challenging. So I feel like it kind of forces you to like learn what your strengths are and take advantage of them in any way possible. But something I've learned at college is that the problem is that like people don't know their strengths, but sometimes they have like trouble like having the motivation to use them. I feel like is like a decent problem sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know.
Well, in the book, we motivate. We give Sam the motivation to use her strengths, right? Because we put her in a very difficult situation. You mentioned Trent, so you always have to have an antagonist in one of these books. Yeah. So Trent, who is Tulip's assistant, is our antagonist, and he's very straight-laced and difficult to deal with, and Sam is put in a situation where she has to deal with Tulip's assistant, and Tulip's a famous person, right? So for a regular high school kid, this is just a difficult scenario because he has very high expectations, but his expectations don't necessarily align with who she is. So she has to really push back and figure that out. So,
no, I love the way she stood for herself. Josh, you wanted to say something?
I think that was a really good point. I think that from what I've seen in my like time at college, it's definitely like everyone has their strengths, but like they need to find like a motivation or reason to use them before they like realize the full potential of them.
And like you just said now, I want to piggyback on what you just said right now. Like everybody has their own strengths. It's just for them to use it to their own advantage. And I think one strength that I know you didn't outrightly mention it in the book that I saw from Sam was leadership, right? The way she got people to, do the things, that was going to do, that they were going to do to make the event a success. She got Mark to help out, with the man. Mark, if you didn't read volume 1, was was a rival in the contest to be the president of the school, and she got him to get involved and get excited and do all the work. She got Wayne, which was one of the people that helped with lighting, and she got Niles to help with a lot of work, and she got Ruby as well. Everybody was involved, and the thing I loved about it is she was able to use her quiet strengths and influencing strength to make sure that those people, not make sure, those people were willing to do the work for her because of her personality. And I just felt like, and she wasn't extroverted about it. She wasn't braggadocious or aggressive about it. And these guys just went to bat with her. And that's a great leadership skill. Do you guys want to talk about that?
Well, I think that, so Sam is in a situation where she experiences doubt, self-doubt specifically, based on some historical things that have happened to her and some more recent things that happened to her. And, but she's also put in a situation where she has to deal with managing this large event. And she's the one responsible for doing it. And she's the person in charge. And the principal puts her in that position, knowing that it's going to stretch her, but knowing that she's fully capable of doing it. So the first thing so one of the things she struggles with is, how am I going to do this? Because she has this doubt. She goes to the counselor. The counselor helps her realize that you can do it. You just have to leverage your strengths. And then as we work our way through the story, she gets pushed to act differently and act more extroverted. And she has to push back and say, this is not who I am. And has to really rely on who she is. But I think the point you're making is, she realizes this is such a big event that she can't do it herself. And so she goes and gets people that she that have their own strengths that she doesn't actually have, to help her get the event off the ground. And you mentioned Mark, who is an extroverted student, and she gets him to do the things that the extroverted student is really good at, like the PR work and the stuff around that. And she develops this relationship with Mark that an introverted and extrovert working hand in hand, and they end up lifting each other up. And we try to do that in these books a lot. It's not just a book. It's a book for introverted teens, but it's not just I'm a firm believer there's no right or wrong personality type. In this book, there are times when the extroverted personality is the personality that's needed, and there's times when the introverted personality is the personality that's needed. But most of the time, we're trying to find those situations where we bring them together, and they're both better off because they're working together, and they're authentic to themselves, and they're relying on the authenticity of the opposite personality at the same time. And what we learn is we produce better results when we do that. So to give you an example, when I wrote my nonfiction book, I came to you and I asked you to kind of help me through some ideas, because you're very extroverted, I'm very introverted. And you ended up writing the foreword for the book, which was this great juxtaposition of an extroverted perspective on what I was writing about that ended up being perfect for the book. So it's that collaboration that was really great, I think.
And we were in which magazine did we get onto now? I forgot which newspaper or magazine. I've forgotten the guy that wrote about the book and that interviewed me. Was it the Wall Street Journal? Oh
yeah, no, yeah. We had there was a Wall Street Journal journalist who interviewed both of us about. He was just asking about introversion in general, and we were giving our perspective, and that came about because he was talking to me about my books, and I'm like, you really need to talk to. Just don't interview introverts. Go and talk to the extroverts, and here's a great person, a great resource, which was you.
No, Josh, I know leadership is very important, and we learn leadership as we grow up. Because growing up, I learned leadership. I know you're introverted a little bit. How is it like for a young kid that's coming up in high school, in junior school? What advice would you have for them going into, or parents of kids growing up in high school, junior high, that want to be leaders and they're introverted? How can they help their kids to exercise that? What would your thoughts be?
I think it's important to help your kid find what they're passionate about and then work towards that. And I think if you're passionate about something and you work on it a lot, I think leadership might come naturally. For example, if you are really into a club and you go to all the club meetings throughout all of high school, by the time you're a senior, everyone in the club is going to know you, and they're going to look towards you as someone who knows what they're doing. So they're naturally going to think that they're a leader. So I think at the start, you don't have to actually think about leadership. It's more about getting your foot in the door and then just working towards what you're passionate about.
I love that you said passion and hard work. And because people always assume passion is the only thing. Passion has to come with hard work to get results. I love that you said that. And I think that's a great way to end part one of our talk. So I want to thank you guys. We'll record part two now, and you guys look forward to that. But thank you for coming to part one, David and Josh, and we'll record part two soon. Is that okay?
All right, perfect.